Hey, this is Kate from Isalicious Designs, and today we're going to be making Captain America, and I'm going to start off with his shield. So we'll do that little bit first. We're going to have our loom in an offset configuration, which means columns 1 and 3 are going to be slightly lower than column 2. We're going to be double banding, which means you take 2 bands and place them over the peg as if they were one. And we're going to have our loom with the arrows pointing towards us. If you're not using a loom that has arrows, the open part of the peg faces towards you. So we'll get started. Double banding. Doing 4 pair here. Make sure you push all of these down because we are going to be layering. Now we're going to take 2 white bands and place here, then 2 red bands, two blue bands. I didn't tell you the colours that you needed because I'm pretty sure you all know that we need red, white and blue. 2 more red bands, another 2 white bands, and then we'll come down here a little bit more just to finish this off with 2 white here and 2 white here. Now we're going to take a single white band, place your hook through it, wrap it once and twice, and get another single white band and slide that on. That is going to go between these pegs here. Okay, now we're going to use red bands, and we're going to do a border of red double bands as a layer for the outer circle of red on the shield. Oops. Dropping bands everywhere. The last 2 down here, and we will put an end cap on this very end peg right here. Let's take a single band. I like to wrap it once and twice and 3 times and pop it on, and if I feel that it needs to be a bit tighter, I take another band like that, not another band, the same band, but I pull it out with my hook and I wrap it around like that. We need some crossover bands, and we use a single band and put them over in a triangle like that. Now we're ready to start with our looming. So starting down the bottom here, you're going to push through that end cap and grab the 2 top red bands. Mine are the 2 on the left, so I'm going to loom them to the left. Then grab the next 2 red bands. We're only doing the red bands at this stage. Okay, so let's loom all of our red bands up. Sorry, knocked a camera. And again, I think I need my camera to be a little higher. Okay, once we've done that, what we're going to do is take the red portion off and leave it on the outside of the loom. So to do that, you're going to push your hook between layer 1 and 2 and leaving the crossover bands where they're supposed to be. We're easing this off the loom. Like that. I'm going to do the other side. And this is so that we can get to the bottom layer to loom that. Now up here, I'm going to move that band across like that, and the same on the other side, this band across like that. Okay, so now we're going to start looming down here. First of all though, I'm moving this band, no I'm not, I'm going to leave it right there. It's fine where it is. We're going to grab the 2 top white bands and loom them across. Mine was to the left. Same on the other side. 2 top white bands, loom to the right, and loom these ones up the middle. Now we're going to dig down past all of these bands and find the 2 bottom white bands, and I've just broken one, but that's not a problem, easy to replace. There we go. So let's loom up again. Push past that little band here and past the crossover band and loom up and loom up. At this point we're going to stop and go to the other side. Loom up and loom up. Sorry, I know I'm hitting the camera. Loom the middle. Now we're going to do something a bit tricky. With this we want to take, the red has to be, we want the red on the outside. So in order to do that we're going to take these 2 top red bands off. Now I have a holding hook that I'm going to put them on. If you don't have a holding hook, you can use anything. It's just the 2 tops. So this 2 top from this side and these 2 from this side. If you don't have a holding hook, a pencil will work. You can pop them on a pencil if you have that instead. We're going to loom our white ones across like that. Push it down. We're going to loom this white one up the middle, and then we're going to put our red bands back so that they are the ones that are on top when we come to do our looming. We're going to get 2 red bands, poke our hook down the middle of this peg here and out the side, put the 2 red bands on it and twist the hook so that the smooth side is going to go against all these bands, and pull it through to the back of the peg, and then take the 2 that are closest to you up, over and off, and pull tight into a slip knot. Now we're ready to take it off the loom. It's going to be quite tight. You've got quite a lot of bands on these pegs. Pull it into shape. The little bit that we had in the middle here, I can see that one part of it has moved out, and I want that to be in the middle, like that. And there we have his shield. What I tend to do with this is move the red bands that we use to tie everything off down the back of the shield, because we can actually use that to thread his hands through, or his one hand, so that he's holding his shield. So move these two red bands down to probably about the middle if you can, and just leave them like that for the moment. Now we're actually going to make our action figure. So we're starting on his body. We're going to start with doing his arms. So take two blue bands. So we're double banding. Move down like this. Then we go to two white bands. And then some red bands. We're going to use an end cap here, so take one red band, wrap it around this hook, you know what I'm talking about, the peg. Push your hook past that end cap, grab the two bottom red bands, and we start to loom up. That onto there, and we'll take this off the loom. And we're going to leave this on a holding hook until we're ready to use it. We're going to do another one. So two blue bands. And another two. Oops. Two white, and then some red. And then doing end cap, 1, 2, 3, and one more, 4. Grab your hook, push past that end cap, oops. Grab the two bottom red bands, and we'll start looming up. And we're going to put this also on that holding hook. So those are the two arms. Now let's do his body. Configuration is offset, so columns 1 and 3 are lower than column 2. We're double banding, and we're starting with blue. a couple of flesh tone bands. Probably actually need to push them down so I can fit everything on there. Let's do that. There we go. A crossover band is a single band that I push across his face like that. Now he has little wings on his head, so we're going to take a single band, white, wrap it around once, twice and 3 times, and that's going to go on a blue band that you're going to stretch and twist into a figure 8 and slide those white bands onto that. Move it so that it's halfway, and then that's going to go up here on this peg, and the other side, oops, the other side is going to be dropped, no it's not, is on this peg here. We're going to do the same on the other side, a single band, once, twice, 3 times, onto a figure 8 blue band, move it into the middle, and he also has one in the middle of his forehead as well, which is representative of a star. So let's do that. Grabbing a single white band, slide your hook in, twist it once, twice and 3 times, and again grab a blue band. And the reason I'm doing blue is because it's not going to interfere with the colour of his helmet, his mask. Move that into the middle and we'll just pop that from there to there. Now across here we're doing his eyes. I'm going to take a single band, I'm going to wrap it once, I don't know why I did it like that, once, twice, 3 times, twist it 3 times and place here. And on that we're actually going to be placing his eyes. His eyes are going to be a little seed bead, and you're going to thread those onto a band with a threader. I have a video on how you can make a metal threader that's on my YouTube channel. That's quite handy. Okay, next we're going to go to his neck, which is 3 bands, blue. Push that down. His shoulders. We're back to 2 bands. His torso. Now we can actually put his arms on his shoulders here. So take them from your holding hook and just place either side of his shoulders like that. We need to do a star across the middle here, so I'm taking a single white band, 1, 2 and 3, and I'm going to place that onto a blue band. Just like that. Now we're going to do 2 red bands either side, 2 white bands, and then we're back to blue bands. Push everything down. Now before we go much further we need to do his belt, and his belt is going to be made of 2 black bands which we're just going to place here, and then we're going to use a silver band and I take a single silver band and I'm going to wrap it 3 times around my finger like an end cap almost and place it there. Now we're back to the double blue bands. Oops, that's 3. And now some red. 2 red. Another 2 red. 2 red on the bottom here. And 2 red on the bottom here. We'll do his shoes again with red. Take 2 red bands, place your hook through, wrap it once and twice, and then take 3 red bands, and we're going to slide those on just like that. Make sure it's in the middle, reclaim the end of your band, and that goes on the bottom of his foot here. Same on the other side, 2 red bands, pop your hook through once and twice, and then 3 red bands, slide those over and onto it, pretty it up into the middle, reclaim the end of your bands, and they get slid on to the end of that foot. Now we need to do crossover bands. Starting here, take a single band, cross it over these 3 pegs, take this one up and just pop it over that last peg there, and then we're just going to move up doing our crossover bands. I'm not going to worry about a crossover band here because our belt will actually manage to do that. Likewise with this one as well, I'm not going to bother doing a crossover band there. So I think we're pretty good. We've got our eyes, we've got our belt, we've got our little wings, our emblems. I think we're ready to start looming. So down the bottom here, grab the 2 red bands and we'll start looming up. And we're going to loom up till we get to his belt. Push the crossovers back with your hook and just loom those 2 bottom bands. This one comes up, loom up to this red one here on either side, and then we're going to loom this one up here. Now what we're going to do is get these silver bands up over these blue bands so that they can form our belt. So pushing your hook in, and we need the black bands out of the way. Make sure that the silver band is just the silver band and not the white bands too, and lift them up and over so they sit there. Then we're going to take a black band, stretch it out and move it across to the front here, and we're going to attach it to that front peg just there like that, and the same on the other side. Attach it, whoops, like that. We're going to take our silver bands and I'm just going to rest it on top of the peg here. And the reason I'm doing that is because when I push down here to grab those 2 white bands, I want it to trap the silver so it's like a belt buckle. Okay, so now I'm going to loom up the red, this middle blue one, up to the shoulders. Again, keep pushing those crossover bands out of the way. Loom the shoulders to the throat. And then we're looming the sternum up to the throat and the neck up to the face. Now at the face we're going to go for the top two bands, which in my case are on the left. Loom them to the left. Same for the right ones. Loom them to the right. Loom the middle ones straight up. Loom down, go past the little ones that we have for the wings. Just grab those two bottom blue bands. Push everything else out the way. Loom the side ones. And then lastly the middle one. And grab two blue bands. And we're going to tie this off by pushing our hook through the top channel of that peg, putting our bands on, twisting our hook, bring it back to the back side of that peg and taking the two closest to us up, over and off and pulling tight. Okay, we're ready to take him off the loom. I use the back of a hook to help me with that. Okay, so I'm going to stretch him out so that he's all in the right shape. We need to take a hook and gently just pop these little wings on the side of his head out. Make sure that they pop out a little bit. Like so. I then like to take these tie-off bands and let's push the star at the front of his face out first before we do those, because that has sunk to the back. Dig down and find those white bands and pop them through the middle of his forehead. There we go. I try and make them even by putting my hook there and wiggling them. Okay. Now back to the back of his head. I'm going to try and hide these bands behind some of the bands back here. There is a slip knot in them, so they are secure-ish. I still like to use an S-clip and just attach it to that. And seeing as we're doing a mouth for him, we can put the mouth on the other side. Now I'm going to get a black Sharpie to draw the pupils on. One there, and one there. I'm going to use a black band to do his mouth, and usually when I do the male action figures I like to do a thinner mouth, so I'm going to cut my black band and I'm going to just poke my hook through his face. Let's move that S-clip out of the way. Pop my hook through his face, grab half of the band and pull it through the back of his head so that he's, suspended on it. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side, about the same spot, so that my hook comes through the same part of the bands. Grab the other side of the black band and pull that through. He's got rather a sideways smile. I don't mind that too much. Fiddle around with it until you're comfortable with how it looks. And then all you're doing at the back here is tying it in a knot like that, trimming the edges so that they're not too long. So here is Captain America. Oh, we've lost his centre one as well. Let's find that. There we go. And we have his shield, which we have the two loops that we tied off from, that we can just poke his little hand through like so. And there we have Captain America. Thanks so much.